Okay, now we're ready to start session 3. And once again, we are talking about the beginning of the school year and just going on with that and what plans are for the new school year and how we're going to do that. First thing we want to do is look at, what do good teachers do in the first few weeks of school? You can give a little bit of your experience of things that go on at your school. I mean, some things are class things, other things are just school things that have to take place. Everything from reading handbooks to doing class counts to a variety of things that happen at schools that just go on. They may not be part of your lesson plan, but other things you need to be aware of that are going on there. Take a pad and once again, either on a pad or on a whiteboard, try to make a list of those things that go on, things that they can think of that might need to happen within those first week. Now remember, we've already looked at a couple of days worth of stuff, so they should have a few things already because we've already given them a couple of days worth of things that they need to look at, and that's fine. Go ahead and list them down, and then we need to try to push them towards other things that will go on. One is a unit plan, and they may not know what a unit plan is. That's maybe a new term to them, but trying to look at the big picture of what's going to take place and then break it down into smaller units as far as day-by-day lesson plans. But what's the big plan that we need to get through, and chunk it up into big plans and big units and then break it down later. But introduction to the course content, we have already done that and showed them a little bit how to do that through a course syllabus. We're going to show them later with this lesson about classroom rules and procedures and talk about that a little bit. Getting to know each other, we have a lesson plan for this unit that will cover students getting to know each other. We've already talked about a teacher welcome and you just talking to your students a little bit about you, giving you a little information about you and your background, where you came from. And then learning to work together. Learning to work together is not a natural, innate skill. It's something that you're going to have to teach them. They don't typically know how to work as partners, so you have to teach them what you expect when working together. How to respect each other, how to work together, how to use each other's skills to get things done. Also, you'd be looking at first day lesson plans. We've already covered 2 days now of lesson plans, so they should have those under their belt. We're going to continue, at least give them 5 when they walk away, and then if you have other things that should be going on that they need to know how to do, we'll try to get those to them also. We want those plans for the first weeks of school. Strategies for getting to know your students. We've already talked about some. We're going to show you another one with this lesson here. Rewards, recognition, and incentives. A lot of times those come at the end of a course, but they don't have to be at the end of it. They can be throughout. I mean, it could be little things, just from a high five for doing something right, thumbs up for going above and beyond, a candy bar for succeeding something that you've been working very hard at. I mean, just little things help motivate students and keep pushing them on to do better and better all the time. We are going to look at classroom procedures. We're going to look at the rules. We're going to look at CTSOs, student organizations. And then looking at teaching and reflecting on what we've taught and learning how to reflect. And that way we can look back and make changes and move forward doing our stuff. Okay, our day 3 lesson. Within this lesson, you'll have a lesson plan, and within that, the activity this time. It has a couple of handouts, and those are there too. You can use those. With these are a student interview, basically an activity where the students get together and work as a group, work in pairs together, and they interview each other, and then they turn around and introduce each other to the class, which once again, you get to learn a little bit more about them and how they like to be thought of through their peers and how other people perceive them also. So it's a nice little activity. It should work with any area, and I mean, it will vary. The students will vary according to the area, but it's still a good activity as far as doing things. The other thing is a course syllabus, kind of a blank form that once again they've already started some. This would be another idea to work with and to use. Also within the handout material, and you'll need to make copies as needed. So once again, you'll need to try to contact your area supervisors so that you know how many to expect for and make copies of these things. Within this, I've given you what I called a management and operation information and test. This is basically just how I run my classroom, how I expect you to behave, some of the basic stuff that they should know coming into this room or being at this school. So if you're a tech center, this may be the first time they've been to a tech center, but more than likely it's the first time they've been in your classroom. So it's going to include some basic classroom rules. It's going to include a variety of just basic stuff. So this is just an example. Once again, it's there. They can use whatever they want to out of it. They can strip out things that they don't want to use as far as information or test materials, and then use it from there. But it's just, once again, a tool that they can use however they wish to use it, and it can be used that way. I also have a rules contract, which is beginning days paperwork, and it's just kind of a contract with them, their parents, and you on general basic behavior in the class. It's not a long list of behavior things, but just a basic thing. I also have a PowerPoint that goes with that, just a different way of presenting that information. An internet contact. I'm not sure how much computer your area would use, but that's up to you. I mean, if you use the internet, almost every area use the internet nowadays, at least to look at jobs and careers and those type of things and do research for whatever area. So your school probably has some sort of an internet contract with them. I've always done one of my own just so I have it on record for me. Safety contract, this just definitely, if you're working with tools, it's not a safety test or anything. It's just a contract that they will follow the procedures. If they're going to do something that requires safety, they're going to follow procedures to do that. So it's just a upfront thing that they know there's going to be safety, and they need to be aware of it and go through the proper steps and channels before they use or do anything with machines or tools. So those are there. These are just examples. If you have your own, by all means, use your stuff and replace mine. These are just examples that we can use here. So, end of session 3. We will move on to session 4.